Okay, so today we're gonna be very, very quiet because Stavor is streaming over there, and if you hear any random German noises or phrases, he's probably died in Valorant. So let's talk about Heretics versus Paper Rex. Now, Paper Rex, they changed their comp. They went from triple duelist to double duelist, but double duelist still pretty aggressive, so they're still gonna be running it down like they did for a good portion of this map. And this one actually starts out pretty well for them, as you'll see. Something's gonna find Rienz and just take his head off right there. But now it gets kind of weird, and this is what was going on with Paper X this whole map. Take a look at something here, okay? He's going to dash in, and he's going to avoid the trips as well, right? So up he goes, updrafts over the trips, gets in just here. Now Forsaken, he gets caught by the trip, right? And we've got Benji down here with his double cage setup as well, allowing him to kind of play in the cages, and so Forsaken dies just there. Okay, they know that Benji's here, and something you would think is in a great position here. You just loop back around. These guys are coming this way. You'd think Benji's dead for sure, right? But he's not dead for sure, because here's what Benji does. Benji runs across his cages just here. And so what that means is when something, take a look at this, when something comes and looks back here, potentially trade, and Munya actually TP's up top as well towards heaven, something doesn't see him, right? So something at this point probably either thinks, he's right by my teammates, probably in these cages or whatnot, right? And so something just looks, doesn't see him, and just decides to come up towards heaven instead. And whilst that's going on, Benji's actually getting the kill. So you can see, look how lost Monye is, right? Looking around those cages, they have no idea where he is. Something's coming up into heaven instead, and basically Benji absolutely destroyed them with this A setup.
Something did not even try to get the trade. He went for a react play into heaven. He's in heaven. Tagged up. That's wild.
That was our first 4K of many 4Ks we're going to see in this game. It was kind of crazy. This very next round, right? So Paper X, they tried to go for fast mid play. They got caught out, lost the first kill. They're in a 4v5. They're coming back to A, as we can see just here. And MyFreak is going to destroy this strip. Now, even though they're in a 4v5, there's 3 people on the wrong side of the map here for Team Heretics. They've destroyed the trip here from MyFreak, and they're not in an awful position, but again, it's mistakes by Paper Rex, because as MyFreak now, he breaks the trip, puts the snake bite down, they get the smoke in, he starts to edge in onto the site. The problem they've got now is that this camera is in here, and this is just again, these tiny mistakes or small mistakes or big mistakes the Paper Rex were making throughout the entire game, at least in this first half, were costing them big time, because we saw this camera last round, right? Something got tagged by the camera last round, and now it's taking a look at MyFreak just here, and this is a default camera, right? Alfia used this setup every single round last year for Fnatic, and so it's a very popular setup. And so what we're going to see is that Rienz here is going to go for a really nice breach flash just here, because obviously they can see that MyFreak is in this position. Benji's going to swing, and he's going to find a free kill.
Into that spot, and that's a classic play that something will go for. What a re-clear!
So now we're in a 3v5. And Benji has gotten hit by this Omen Flash, but again, this Omen Flash isn't really doing anything, right? Like, yeah, you flashed him, but no one is actually ready to play off that, right? No one is actually ready to do anything off that. And Benji's actually just sitting snug in his cage and is absolutely perfectly safe. And again, Benji's going to manage to absolutely just fry Paper X as they actually come up here, as they just couldn't deal with Benji being back on the site.
The timing could not have been better. Now it's left up to just a few stragglers. Paper X players. Nice movement, at least the tip. Tap! Not enough! Benji! Precision
30 seconds left.
on display, fully in control. Don't you dare set your sights or your feet whatsoever near his side, because this guy is on one.
Okay, so Paper X, they're making mistakes. They're getting destroyed when they're going to A. So what do they decide later on in the half to do? Well, they're going to come to B. You might be like, oh, they shouldn't go for these fast hits anymore. But the thing is, that's what their comp is still good at. But Heretics come up with a really nice plan here. And I think, honestly, if you're playing against a team in like your ranked games that are just like sending it to sites, Benji's going to come and put a trip here in mid that we'll see later on in the round that gets them a kill. You should probably be doing this trip as well, right? Get bodies to where the kind of sites are, where they're likely to go, and have your Cypher utility just kind of tell you if anyone is actually coming up mid, where they often weren't, right? So Paper X, they come towards B. Boo does this little smoke in here, and he's just going to see the feet of something in a second, and Paper X don't like it, right? They don't like that they've been seen. They don't like, you know, the kind of situation that they're in, and so they decide to cancel the hit, and they're going to come back towards mid instead. And when they start to come back towards mid, now you have this trip, and look at what the setup is, right? You've even got the stun ready here from Rienz if this trip does get broken with the Viper ready to swing. Now, I'm not sure if the stun actually does make a difference in this case, but you'll see that it does end up getting him a kill with this trip because the dog goes under the trip just there. My Freak gets caught by the trip and Mini Boo kills him, right? So the trip gets a kill. So PaperX are like, well, don't like that either. And so they decide to run away. They know the Viper's here. They know the Razor's here. They probably even see the stun and they don't like that trip either. So they come back towards B. But again, just take a look at what's actually going to happen here towards B when PaperX start peeking out, because something will find a kill, but it gets very, very ugly here.
And really, you have to swing into it.
No, it's horrible. It's a really horrible trip to deal with. Very powerful.
Crossing back through main, running out of really opportunities. Jumping peak by something, back through, in and out. Drifting with the movement. Did he know that Device pushed up onto this angle? It seems like Boo has that awareness. Forsaken through mid, there's a rocket. It's sent loose and flying again. Where's it going? Into the back, and you can kill him, man. He still stands tall. Try and conquer him, try and take this side up, but the anchoring players are making a mockery of the PaperX play style.
But Boo goes absolutely crazy there. Absolutely insane. But again, PaperX just making mistakes. You know, it's a good plan by Team Heretics. As I said, the trip in mid is a very good plan for what PaperX were doing. And something gets this kill, dashes back. But now that we've seen Boo here and Devi has been shot at, I just want you to keep this round in mind for when we see rounds later on in the game to see the difference in PaperX. Because Devi comes out here and you see Boo shooting, right? So you might think, I mean, if Devi swings here or if something swings here with Monyet, this is at least a 1-for-1, right? And this is a gun that we can pick up where, you know, for instance, Monyet doesn't have a gun, Devi doesn't have a gun, right? So pretty good, all things considered for them. But instead, we end up in this situation where it's just Monyet. Something randomly just fires a blind shot instead at him. Then we're going to get Forsaken comes up into heaven, kills Patitek, gets a Razalt. Then once we've got the Razalt and we still know where this guy, you know, the general vicinity of where this guy is, then something decided to just randomly swing out the smoke with his op then. Showstopper misses, and then Boo's able to get his 4K, right? It's a mess from PaperX. They're all just completely on different wavelengths of what to do. And again, just keep this in mind for when we get later on into the game. Okay, so PaperX, they're getting destroyed. They've lost 5 rounds in a row. It's 5-2 to Team Heretics. They take their second time out already in the half, and they come up with a really nice plan, and that's to pinch on Patitek here in towards vents. Because here's the thing, Benji, for the most part, has been putting double trips on A, right? Obviously, in the last round, we saw that he did have a trip here in mid, but for the most part, this has been their setup with the breach supporting. We know that if we're PaperX. So what they decide to do is try and pinch on Patitek here in towards mid, because there's nothing really stopping them from doing this, right? There hasn't really been too much that's really stopping them if they can get up into this position. And so, you know, a camera might see them doing it, but it can't actually stop them necessarily from doing it, especially when Forsaken has a judge here as well. So it's a really nice plan by PaperX that actually gets them the first kill.
Heretics, when they have these retake protocols, when they have all these ideas, it's just inevitable that you're going to be failing. If you are improving and they've already, you know, come up with a Google Doc 20 steps ahead, you're not going to have it.
Okay, but Patty's position right now, getting squeezed.
Yep, stun, lay down, Forsaken. Apparently moving, he is being squeezed.
So a really nice idea by PaperX. And one little note as well to make about this is the fact that they also only made noise up towards ramp, right? These two here in mid, they stay completely silent. They don't actually make any noise whatsoever, right? And because they don't want Viper snake bites and raise nades in here to stop them, so they just have a quick little skirmish with Miniboo there, but something is then able to just get into the position that they need to pinch on Patitek, as we can see here. But even after they get that kill, they're still gonna lose this round. And this was a really nice idea by PaperX, but sometimes you just run into people absolutely frying.
Yep, stun, lay down, Forsaken. Apparently moving, he is being squeezed. So, a rifle obtained. Reward for their troubles. Now they're really just making the moves out towards heaven. Benji forced away from the precious corner that he's been loving to play in. Back towards, again, screens, one-way smokes. At least the cages set up for him. Gives him that covering fire, and yet finally puts him down. Blinded. Brilliant! You absolute animal! You absolute beast! And Monyet, what can you do? Rolling thunder up in the air, target practice!
Then came the turning point of this game, which was round number 9, as PaperX were finally able to do an A exec and not let Benji absolutely destroy them. And they changed where some of this utility was going, right? For instance, they raised nade up high here to have all the little shells try and destroy as many trips as possible in this kind of general vicinity. Actually doesn't destroy this trip this time, but it's not that important. They're going to Viper Snakebite back here as well to stop the breach from helping support Benji back here. They're going to Omen Flash with good timing this time, where the duelists are actually coming in, and they're coming in together, and Benji still manages to get a kill, but at least they're finally able to get Benji off this A site and take the site with a nice exec.
Free stuff. Cutting it into the round, the options running out. Paranoia finally clears into the corner, but a cage to play into it. It splits it up entirely. Benji, Fishy, take your time. Take your pick, son. Finally, the return of the fire with a shotgun to the face and a vulnerability there with a snake bite. Can I follow through with the stingers? Hello, and open it.
For PaperX, they're finally able to get into a good situation, a 4v2, but they're gonna do some trolling really in this as well, right? You can still see that they're very nervous, don't quite know what to do. These two are going to start with a double swing here, right? Which is okay, it's not the worst thing in the world. It is a double swing, but Boo is actually able to get one kill and then get out without a trade existing there. And then you're going to see Mindfreak. He just takes a 1v1 up here against Miniboo, loses that fight. Devi then goes looking for a 1v1 by running up towards Elbow, and he dies to a nade, leaving one yet in a 1v2. So we go from a 4v2 straight to a 1v2 because PaperX are just so desperate to take all these fights, and they can't win them.
Low, and enough out into the open that may be a possibility.
These players are weak.
Here for Heretics, 2v2. Seekers have to be used. She's trying to count for the players' positions. Broken. Miniboo scared about it. Nade rebounds. Nade rebounds. Monyet in a 1v2. This started as a 4v2. No utility to his name. Doubled up. Heretics, you got to think discipline. Name of the game. A dodge, a weave, a duck, a play, and Monyet saves the bloody day.
But you probably think that 1v2 of Monyet winning it was the turning point for PaperX. And whilst that is kind of true, because Team Heretics only won one more round from that point, there was still a lot of weird decisions being made by PaperX straight after it, right? For instance, in this very next round, round number 10, we take a look at this one. It's going to get a bit of a beef movement here from Miniboo with his ult here, right? Not quite perfectly timing all of that, and PaperX have to run away for a second. But then watch what's going to happen here, right? We get this smoke coming in here, and PaperX make this decision to come all the way back to B, essentially. But take a look at Mindfreak here, right? He just is going to solo walk out the smoke. Monyet is right next to him, but he's just going to solo walk out the smoke with no utility and die to Benji just holding the angle. What are they doing? What are they doing? Right, and then, okay, they're going to come back to B here, basically, and just do a straight B hit after, creating some pressure on A. I mean, it's not the most, genius round you've ever seen, but PaperX will win this round from this point with, I must say, you're going to see them start to actually fight as a team, right? Because this ends up in a 4v3, but they are going to fight this as a team where all three players are looking the right way, and all three are trading off each other.
To you, how do you clear him? Boo avoids it, round to the back. Still with the shotgun. No way, he knows it, feels it. Maybe just hearing it, possibly off the sound cues. Pad attack though, it took that timing and took that chance. Gifted with one, something's there. It's a flood defense, a flood play, right in, resetting the aim! My God!
Oh yes, we got another 4K in this round, and as I said, PaperX, they did, find the right time to all kind of be looking the right way. Some of you might be questioning, why did all of Team Heretics, why did they all decide to flood from heaven together, right? They're going for this fast flood, if maybe a couple of them come this way, maybe they have a chance. Thing is, against PaperX, who of course are a very aggressive team in general, you don't quite know exactly what they might have done. Also, we had an Omen ult TP, so it's possible that they might have thought that actually came in back here as well. So I'm going to guess for Team Heretics, the call was just to, come out here. If anyone has pushed CT, then we'll deal with them after, essentially, right? We'll just deal with everyone on the site first, and then we'll deal with whoever's there a bit later. So that's, I think, why Team Heretics did go for that play, but as we saw, it didn't work for them. But we then came in to the second half, and this is where Team Heretics really, I think, started to show their inexperience slightly. And it starts really with the pistol round, right? Where they're just going to go for this kind of, fully committed towards A. You see them come, they're going to come up to ramp just here, and they're going to just do an A exec, essentially. And we can see that it's just Mindfreak on his own. Now, he does have this Viper wall that PaperX like to do, and this is a really, cool little Viper wall. that Paper X do in general, because what this wall can allow you to do sometimes is sneak up behind. Like if you think, you know, people are kind of in this area but no one's out in towards A main, you can sneak up behind them, and obviously it creates a threat that, you know, you might be somewhere backside and can use the wall to kind of play off of. And you're going to see that Team Heretics basically panic, and they don't seem to quite know how to deal with this wall, right? They've come all the way up heaven just here, they come in onto the site, they take the site. But now look, they kind of wait for everyone to come and clear the wall together. They run through the wall together, which you might think, oh, that looks nice from Team Heretics, right? They're all waiting. But what they've ended up doing essentially is getting themselves into an awful post plant, right? Because essentially now just watch what happens in this post plant, where they're going to get the spike down eventually. But now they are all stuck on site, right? Which obviously is not a great position. And especially considering they've come and cleared heaven. And, you know, they've been in all of these areas. They've touched like all of this part of the map thus far. To end up in a post plant where 4 of our players are locked in here obviously isn't great. So they recognize this themselves and want to go and try and walk after the spike is planted. They don't want to get trapped behind this wall. So they try and come walking out here, but the timing is gone, right? They were too slow, and they haven't shown anything anywhere else on the map because there isn't anyone else anywhere on the map. So Paper X have fully rotated, and the timing is just not there to do that. And, you know, did they need all players necessarily to come and walk through this wall? Perhaps not. Right? Perhaps not. Could they have left someone, you know, either here or here or here, you know, anywhere in these kind of areas that would have helped them in the post plant? Yeah, perhaps.
Angle, look at them, they were trying to refight. It's just walking through these smokes, and well, with the decay kicking in, good luck to you. Paper X still here. Benji Fishy cleaned up everybody. That's another pistol round for Paper X.
And we of course know that Paper X are a hard team to play against, not only because they have great players, which you'll see again in this round where Forsaken goes crazy again, but also because of some of the things that they do. They're just a crazy team, right? For instance, you might expect with a no Sentinel comp that you would have one person guarding A main, one person guarding ramp, one person in vents, one person in B heaven, and one person on B, right? That's how a majority of teams might play with no Sentinel on split, but not Paper X, right? This is against an eco as well. And, you know, we've got something just on his half of the map on his own, and then we've got 3 people in B heaven. And this is smart though, again, by Paper X, because the thing is, Team Heretics are playing a breach instead of a sky in this comp, so they don't have a dog that can come up here and see 3 people and be like, well, F that, let's go A, right? They don't have that. All they have is a cipher cam essentially, and, you know, is that going to reliably give you that information? Probably not. So this is smart by Paper X as well.
Up by 3. Forsaken has just been a monster in these split games individually.
Form-wise, it's really being decided. That factor at play.
He's just so good.
Finishes him off. 2-4, reposition a Mind Freak. Sal back into it. Dog's gonna have a spot too. They want a few more. What is that? What is that? Disgusting. Satchel in their faces, man. This is relentless.
Okay, and then the final round here, really, really cool round by Paper X as well, because they're going to go for this 4-stack here in mid. And I love the disguise that they do here as well. Just take a look. They're going to sky flash out here towards B to make it look like, oh yeah, there is still someone on B. Don't worry about it, right? They're also going to smoke in here as well, right? Just a almost fake, like we do have presence on B, but then they're actually going to go for this 4-stack mid walk.
Yeah, heartbreak. Tragedy for them. You think about how close the prior match was, but a deep push, contact, making a footstep here. This should be a level of awareness, boo! Oh, it's just asleep at the wheel, maybe watching something entirely different.
Now, Paper X, after that, they have to go and clear back towards B, right? Because obviously they don't know if someone has walked out whilst they were busy in mid. So they come back and take a look at that. They don't see that anyone is there in mid. And now something with his dash active, you see he's just going to try and get aggressive in mid again. He unfortunately does overstep this time, though. With the smokers about to bloom, he just tries to take a quick peek, but dies just there. And then we get a Cypher ult coming in as well. And Cypher ult obviously tells them that, yeah, Paper X, no one's on A. So Heretics, they just sprint towards A, as you would expect them to do, right? So they sprint towards A, they get here onto the side. This is where this wall comes in for Mind Freak, though. Although they do see him here, Heretics, you see they ping him out just there, and they start sending you to him. You know, this wall does allow him to survive a bit, right? It allows him to, you know, avoid that flash. And yeah, sure, he does get stunned and he's in a lot of trouble, but he actually does really well to get a kill. But whilst he's getting a kill, we've also going to get Divite across here, who's going to win this fight against Benji Fishy.
Mighty's in trouble, needs some backup. Where is the help from the rest of his team? Through and out. Mind Freak and Divite.
But this is where we're going to see a different team to the team that you saw in those first couple of clips. Right, this is 2 completely separate teams you're about to see, because we end up in the 2v3. take a look at how disciplined Paper X play, right? When we saw all those random 1v1 swings, look, Devi, he's not giving them a fight. He's just looking for info. We're not giving them a fight. We're not giving them a fight, right? We're literally just chilling. We are waiting. No free kills, no 1v1s. Everyone's just chilling. We eventually send the Skydog out here. We see that the Viper is out here, right? We're going to flash off the back of that, and then we're going to send it, right? We're going to TP. We're going to come down here with the Raze. And then again, just take a look at the last kill as well, where both Devi and I think it's Forsaken are ready to trade the kill on the last guy as well. Perfectly played by Paper X.
Trailblazer, aftershock down, got to dodge it with a knife out. Now a plan, Rians now has the ult online. Does he choose to use it with the pressure? No, he dies! Oh, it's even active and instantaneous is the trade. No gaps in the play for Paper X here.